All right. Thanks to everybody who's joined us today. We really appreciate you being here and hope that you get a lot out of this session. I want to start out with just a couple of really quick housekeeping items. If you have a technical issue, please feel free to use the chat function and be sure to send in the 2 columns to select panelists so a couple of our team members can jump in and help you out. Also, if you have questions throughout this, we know we're covering a pretty big topic and that a lot of you are going to be interested in what's going on here. So we absolutely want to get to as many questions as we possibly can. We're going to save those for the end of the session. Sorry for the sounds in the background. But as we go through this presentation, if you have questions that you don't want to forget about and you want to get in line for that, please feel free to also use the chat feature for that and to send directly to all panelists, and we'll get to as many as we possibly can at the end of this. All right, now if you're on this webcast, it's probably safe to assume that you're interested in learning about the reality of a work from home opportunity today, where you can be your own boss. Our hope is that over the next 30 to 45 minutes, we're going to convey that the trend towards work from home is real. And you're not alone, you could do it if this is something that you've been looking out for, if this is a major paradigm shift for you. This is something that people are doing successfully today, and you can make money doing it. So in order to figure out if this is an opportunity that is right for you, we're going to bring in a couple of people that really have some background in this area. First, I am so thrilled to introduce Jeremy Batchelor. Jeremy currently works at Liveops as an agent results advocate, and through this endeavor, he currently helps our network of independent contractors who are home business owners like you might be interested in looking out for here, because Jeremy used to be one. So he was actually a Liveops agent for quite a long bit of time. He just joined us in January, so he's bringing both perspectives to the table and will be able to answer a ton of questions for you over the course of this session. Next, I'm introducing Aldo. Aldo is a current home business owner with Liveops. So he is in the thick of it. He currently has that experience, and beyond that, he's worked in this area with many other organizations in the past. So his background as a home business owner is quite extensive. And then finally, introducing myself, my name is Katie Bappel. I'm the Senior Director of Agent Experience here at Liveops, and my team focuses solely on making sure that the experience of all our home business owners is as efficient, as effective, and as successful as possible. So I can't wait to dive into this topic a little bit further and then read what some of your questions are at the end here. Now, a lot of you are probably here wondering if this is the right fit for you, what this looks like, is this work from home trend a real thing? And so I want to kick it over to Jeremy to talk about this, especially from his own perspective a little bit. So Jeremy, go ahead and take it away.
Hello, all you beautiful people. How are you today? I know you're saying good at your computer at home, I hope. When I first heard about Liveops, it was actually from a friend of mine. It was after church. I was telling her about my job and how I was working 60+ hours a week, and all the time I was just getting called in. It was constantly busy. I was very stressed about it. And she told me about working from home for Liveops, and I was immediately suspicious because it always sounds too good to be true. I'd see the ads online several times for work at home type jobs. Thankfully, she was braver than me, and she'd actually started working for Liveops 2 years previous, and she absolutely loved it, and she talked me into it, and I got real excited about the idea of working from home and setting my own hours. I had no idea at the time that this work from home thing is a huge area of growth in our booming economy. Experts predict that 43% of the workforce will be freelance as a part of the economy by 2020. It's a workers' economy, and people are sick of hour-long commutes and rigid, non-family friendly scheduling. Fortunately, top brands are noticing this. They are seeing that happy workers equal fantastic service. On this next slide that we're about to switch to, let's talk about some of the perks that come from working at home. For me, one of the biggest perks from working at home was a flexible schedule. If you've ever worked retail or any customer-based workforce, you know what it's like to work insane hours and unpredictable hours, constantly being called in, working every single holiday. I used to work every holiday and can remember the look on my family's face when I would actually show up for an event. That's no longer the case. I can now plan family events. I can go to my child's honor roll ceremony. I can plan date night and traditions to my family and friends, and we know it's going to happen because I am my own boss. I get to choose my own hours. Beyond that, I decided last year that I wanted to pursue a college degree. I'm going for computer programming. And I was able to mold my job around my education, which is usually the opposite. It's completely unheard of in the typical workforce for you to be able to work around your goals. When I thought about this whole chat we're going to do today, it reminded me of something that happened about 5 or 6 years ago. My wife and I had decided we wanted to get out of debt. I was already working a full-time job, and I didn't have any other way to make money inside that job. So I went and I applied to pizza places. I applied to do any kind of delivery job. I just needed 10 extra hours a week to work even more to get a little extra money to try to get rid of our debt. I ended up having to mow yards and make money that way because I was quote unquote overqualified for delivery jobs, and they thought I'd just flake out after the first week. I would have loved to have known about Liveops back then. I could have worked the hours I wanted to, made a ton more money than any of those jobs ever would have paid, and gotten out of debt even sooner. I don't know where you guys are from, but I live in rural West Tennessee. The job opportunities are basically retail and factory work. When I would explain to my friends that I work from home at a call center, they would just step back and say, how is that even possible? And it's real simple. You have a computer, you have an internet connection, you're ready to go. And that's where we come to in this next slide. Who's working from home? So we have all kinds of people that I will talk to day to day. I knew a lot of great people. I live in a small town, so when I managed a store there, everybody knew me. And so they're all asking, what are you doing now? And I'll usually ask them, what are you guys doing? You know, what are you doing with your life? And they'll come back with, oh, I'm super busy. I can't keep a job because I've got to take care of my kids. That's where this becomes amazing. Stay-at-home parents, if your kids are at school, you now have 5 or 6 hours. You can quickly log in, work, make money for your family. And then once the kids are home, you just get off and take care of them. There's no travel time. There's no stress. It's extremely beneficial to people who have busy lives but still need just a little extra money. When I talked to my supervisor from my previous job the other day, he was asking me about what I was doing now. I told him about the work from home thing. He said, it's good work if you can find it. And I just told him, I said, man, this is absolutely something you can do. We're constantly looking for great people, and you get to stay home and service people in your house. You have your kitchen right next door. It's amazing. Soccer moms who can only work a few extra hours a day. This is perfect. Those who are looking to further education, you can build your job around your education. And just people that need extra money. Those are great things that we have available from work from home. But it's more than that. On this next slide, you're going to see this is actually a career opportunity. That's what it was for me. I looked at what Liveops could do for me, and I said, you know what? I can make more money doing this, and I can make it work for my life. And so I chose to leave my career of 7 years and start my own business, working from home and making money. And that's what I've done. And a lot of people can do this. The industries that we support are travel and hospitality, customer service. There's retail. There's insurance claims and sales and healthcare. There are certified positions available here. There's all kinds of opportunities that you can fill and gain experience in, but more importantly, run your own life. And that's been my experience, guys. I regret nothing. You know, they say hindsight's 20/20. I left that job and I've never looked back. I've enjoyed every moment of this, and I would not change a thing. It's been a fantastic experience working from home.
And something just to add in here, we are seeing a lot of trends, and especially the industries that are on this screen right now. So the organizations that specifically Liveops works with are home brand names. They are in a bunch of different industries. Retail is really popular right now, the insurance field, direct sales. So anything that you see on here, if that interests you, it's just reaffirming that we are seeing this major paradigm shift on organizations within these areas want to work with people that are independent business owners to help support them. So if you question that, then Jeremy's experience firsthand, he's seen it. I know Aldo will probably talk about it in a little bit, and it is an increase that we're seeing over time. So Jeremy, I'm going to kick it back to you. How did you know work from home was right for you, and how will the people on the call today know?
So for me, it was all about the change. So there's an old saying that says, until the pain of change is greater than the pain of staying the same, you'll never change. And for me, the pain of staying the same was great. It's a stressful job. I was only getting paid for half the hours I was working because it was salary. And I thought, you know what, anything is going to kick this in the tail. And when I heard about working from home, I thought, now I'm getting rid of my commute. I'm able to work in the comfort of my house. I get to set my own hours and be with my family. All those things were huge pluses. And whenever I make a decision, I make a plus column and a minus column. And the only thing that was on the minus column is I'm betting on myself. I'm making a decision that I will be willing to work. I'm going to wake up and be motivated enough to show up and work, because there's nobody kicking my tail now. It's just me. And so that was something where I told my wife, do you think I have this? And she said, absolutely. And sure enough, I bet on myself and I won. I made as much money as I wanted to make. I clocked in for as many hours as I wanted to work, and I was able to rock it for my family.
So I'm curious, I mean, obviously we have two former, a current and a former home business owner on this call today, presenting to all of the audience that's really interested in this area. I'm wondering what on the screen here resonates with you the most as far as the attributes that spoke to you, and what made you really gravitate towards work from home to begin with. And I know that, Aldo, we're going to get into this a little bit more with you, but if we can go over that just high level right now, I think that'd be really helpful to hear.
Okay. Well, the biggest thing for me was the seeking opportunities outside the 40 hours and the entrepreneur spirit, I guess, on these, and also the thrives in the autonomous environments.
Yeah, definitely. We hear that a lot.
What about you, Jeremy? Which ones did you like?
It's going to sound goofy. The entrepreneurial spirit for me, that was the big one. The idea that I felt like I've done really good for other people. The idea that I can do well for myself and do as great as I want to do, that was huge for me. There's no one standing on my shoulder, going to determine my success. It was me determining my success.
Great point. I think another thing that resonates with me personally on this screen is that I feel like there is opportunities for people that have different personality types to gravitate. So, for example, motivated to help others. If you're really interested or have a background in healthcare, for example, there's a big opportunity growing there, and there's this real opportunity to make a difference as a home business owner, specifically in industries like that around that area. So, obviously, being an entrepreneurial spirit, like being a home business owner, that's a big one for me as well. But there are little things in here where if certain ones resonate with you and others don't, it doesn't mean that if you're not, 8 for 8, that this isn't a great opportunity for you. All right, so we're hearing a little bit already about what the perspective is from people who have been in the shoes of a home business owner. I do want to share a little bit the perspective of what it's like with the clients that these individuals work with, because I think that's important too. And I think probably the question mark for many of you is this something that, organizations, the ones that we hear every day, are they taking it seriously? And I think over the last couple of years, I referenced this earlier, there has been a really big paradigm shift from brick and mortar workforces and people who are supporting, on-site call centers to a virtual model. And it's been surprising to me since I started with Liveops mid last year, just to learn how large the large household names that are gravitating towards this and using this model today. So what that means for those of you that are already doing this and that are interested is that people who decide to work with an organization like Liveops to own their own work from home business, there's a great deal of growth and opportunity in the future to really help support a variety of clients yourself in a variety of industries. And there's a lot of money to be made here and a real opportunity to thrive. All right. So when it comes to kind of what Liveops is like today and what this looks like, we do have a really big network of an independent contractor community. And through that, we are connecting them to some really big brands out in the industry to make sure that we're putting them in the best position to work with organizations that best fit their needs, their interests, and where they're looking to expand their skill set. So this is something that, this is a picture of a great deal of our agents in Atlanta that come together to share best practices around what's that like from the business perspective and how they enable each other to talk about how to run successful home businesses. And a lot of these people, what we consistently hear is that it's about the flexibility. It's about the ability to be there for your family. Jeremy, you referenced this a little bit earlier, and I think that's such a big deal. The ability to set your own schedule. And I know a lot of you just like the comfort of not having to commute because that's a big time suck from your day and from that whole work-life balance. from a cultural perspective, I mean, Jeremy, you already talked a little bit about the whole entrepreneurial spirit and the type of person that this opportunity attracts, but I think it's also important to note, just from a personality standpoint, that these are just real people that come from a variety of backgrounds, variety of 9-to-5 jobs, that really just wanted something different. Again, here's another picture of us with a bunch of our independent contractors, our call center agents in Atlanta, where they are having a great time sharing best practices. And it is an environment where people encourage one another. So I think the fear that comes in is that when you work from home, the thought is that you work alone. And I don't think that's necessarily the case. Jeremy and Aldo, you might have a different perspective on that, or you might be able to expand upon that a little bit more than I can based on your own experience.
Working virtually, honestly, you are never alone. Like, I don't know what it is. It's weird because, like, when you work, I don't know how many of y'all have ever worked at a call center before, like a brick and mortar, where you have like literally somebody who's just paid behind you to keep an eye on you to make sure you're working and not like zoning out or something. Here we have almost the same person, only they actually do things. They, they're within arm's reach. Like, seriously, these people might be like in different states, but the moment you send a notification or a message out, hey, you know what, I'm having trouble with such and such, or I'm having a computer issue, they'll give you the tools, or they'll give you they'll tell you what route to take or where to go to get this fixed. We never, I mean, like, nobody's ever left me behind. Any issue I've ever had, they've always been there to help me. Anything, any question, and like if it gets too complicated to talk and chat, there's a phone number we can call, and they will also provide it to us. As like, you know what, call here, and we'll go and help you out. I've never really felt abandoned in this project. Everybody's been here. I don't know. I like, honestly, I haven't had any trouble.
Yeah, and I do think that's the biggest question mark, right? Is that, okay, if I'm on my own, if I am a independent business owner, then what kind of support or resources do I have available to me? And so, Jeremy and Aldo, I'd love for the audience to hear directly from both of you on how you felt Liveops supported you on your journey to grow your home business, what channels that came through, what it looked like, what was most valuable. And then Aldo, I will come back to you because I want to hear how you'll compare that to previous experiences you've also had as a work from home individual.
Cool.
All right, absolutely. So two things I would put into there. The first one is in regards to the being alone or not. I found that when I did my certification, there was other people in that certification class with me. There's one guy's name was Rodney and another one named Arity. And I don't know, we just kind of grew together through the class. We had questions, we'd ask each other. We recognized each one of us was wanting to succeed. And I think that's so important to find somebody that's aligned with what you're wanting to do. So we have different communication systems within Liveops, and we were able to connect through those, and we became lifelong buddies inside and outside. Whenever we'd have questions, we had different experiences or answers we had found, we were able to go to each other. I think that's so important, guys. Don't be isolated. The old saying that every man's an island is only true if you choose to live on that island. Reach out to somebody that you see doing the same things you are inside of this program, and you're going to find lifelong buddies that are able to help you along the way. Outside of that, one of the main things I think is important to understand, you are self-employed. This is your business. So there are resources and there are people you can reach out to, but you are your number one resource. We have a ton of resources available you can search through, read up on, and find your own answers. That's a you thing because you own the business. If you were a carpenter, you're not going to be asking everybody else how to measure things. You're going to figure that out. You're going to kind of learn some of these skills. Now, our team, I'm an ARA, an Agents Results Advocate. I'm going to help you find those resources. I'm going to point you in the right direction. But my main goal here is to be a guide to help you succeed. I'm not going to feed you. You're going to feed yourself. And so we do sometimes jump in there if it's a real tough situation, help you out. But we really love that you guys are entrepreneurs and that you guys are going to work with these resources and be able to figure them out sometimes. We're always there for you, but at the same time, it's so important to understand you make your success. You're betting on you in these situations.
Thanks, Jeremy. Aldo, anything you want to add to that?
Aside from not being alone and just reminding yourself you're not alone, let's see, what else can I add to that? The certification that we go through, isn't going to be difficult at all. I'm going to let you all know that right now. And most of the certifications we have aren't very difficult. There's help along the way. You're going to really enjoy it because in the certification, what's going to end up happening is it's at your own pace. So you know how sometimes when you're going through like other call centers or whatever, or other trainings from other areas, they'll they'll basically go at one pace and that's it. And sometimes you're like, oh, I already know this. Can we not spend so much time on the subject? Or if it's like one of these subjects where you're like, oh man, I wish we would have spent more time on this subject. You could do that here. Luckily, it's at your own pace and everything. So that's what I really like about the Liveops difference. The, if you've ever worked at any other place, you're immediately going to notice a huge difference between this and anywhere else. I mean, pay rate. I mean, for at least, I mean, the more you work, the more you get out of it. But for me, it was I like to work a lot, so pay rate for me was one big one. The support that you get from your partners around you is a really, really big one, and the availability of like information at hand is also awesome. And again, all of this stuff is like available 24/7. If your project is open at that time, the help is there at that time.
Yeah, and one thing that I think is worth spending a little bit of time on here, just to expand upon that point, Aldo, is that so through Liveops, we do have teams of people that work with you on the specific client that your home business will be supporting, and so through that, there are learning facilitators that help you get certified on specifically how to handle that client. Through that, you get help throughout the way. You have a team dedicated specifically to your class and to the process that you're going through. And then when it is time for you to take your first call, that is supportive to make sure that you feel comfortable getting on the phone for the first time and that you feel like you've been given the tools necessary to be successful in this type of role and strike out as your own. And of course, move forward with being your own boss. A couple of the other ways that we help that hasn't been touched on, you saw some pictures of it earlier. We do travel around the country. The CEO, myself, my team, many other executive team members and staff members. We love meeting our home business owners face-to-face, connecting them so that there is the opportunity to support one another, share best practices, make local connections so you do have somebody you can meet for coffee if you need to talk it out, get help. And those are through our roadshows. They're really events to appreciate and acknowledge the work that our home business owners are doing and that the amazing difference that they've made in their own lives and of course how they can support one another. We also have a full online community that launched about a year ago, and that's a place where at any time, any hour of the day, any day of the week, these home business owners, they can connect with one another, ask questions, they can connect with the staff members they work most closely with, and make sure that they're getting the support, the information, and the resources that they need in order to do their job successfully.
And on just expanding on what you said there too, if you ever run into any like trouble, like getting off a certification right off the bat, somebody will actually call you to see what's wrong. Like, are you okay? It's not like, oh, you got to get on the calls. No, it's like, hey, what's wrong? Like, you know what? How can we do this so like you can get on the calls? You know, do you need to take a little bit less time? Let's do an hour today, and then let's do an hour tomorrow, and let's keep going like that at that rate. They're super understanding here. It's really cool, you guys. Like, if anybody's ever like I said, work from home before, this is a huge difference from some of the other work at home companies, and I'll elaborate more when it's my slide right now, but just a little heads up there.
Yeah, great additions. And then just, I think what's really also unique about Liveops is that this man right here, he is our CEO. And the conversations that we have are constantly around this topic. So this is a quote from Greg. And basically what we're talking about is that we're very mindful of the fact that this can be a little bit scary at first. It takes a lot of courage to strike out on your own and to be your own boss and kind of have that initiative where constantly you're every day in control of the entirety of your success. But we're supporting you throughout the way. So we're constantly talking about ways on how can we do this better, or what's missing today that we need in the future to help make this feel a little bit more seamless, make it a frictionless experience, and make sure that success is number one in our minds to help make sure that that is translating to your home business. All right, Aldo, it's your turn. So we're going to dive in a little bit more to what it's like for Aldo today as a home business owner. And I think a good place to start, Aldo, is people can probably really relate to where you started before you started being your own boss. So do you mind sharing just a little bit on what you were doing before this?
Sure thing. Back when I was lame, Aldo. Um, no, but seriously, like I used to work at call centers and like basically just average 9 to 5 jobs. Something, I don't know if you, I don't think it said it on that list, but something, who's working from here now, who's working from home, people who are just tired of the 9 to 5 rat race, dude. Like, honestly, I hated it. Every day I'd have to wake up like at what was it? Well, no. It was waking up at 8 in the morning and then like putting me there till like 5 in the afternoon. And then after that, they're like, oh, we're gonna stay open 24/7, but we're not open 24/7. So you're gonna stay here from midnight to 8, and I still expect you to make sales while we're closed. And I'm like, dude, that's ridiculously impossible. I can't do that. And after that, I was like, you know what? I can't do this because there's such limited opportunities in my area. I don't know about y'all, but I live in Brownsville, Texas. I'm over here by South Padre Island. I'm only letting you know that so you guys can Google it. There's not a lot of great opportunities out here. You either have a master's and you're either doing teaching or something related to the university, or you're working at a factory you're a welder, something like that. And my back is completely destroyed, so I can't do that anymore. Um, so when I found my first call center of working from home, I was super skeptical. Like no way. Like there's no way. This is real. There's no way. But you know what? I'll give it a try because after all the garbage I've tried around here, I'm ready for something new. I'm ready to put my best foot forward. I'm ready to invest in myself. And after that, I was like, okay, cool. This works. It was my first toes in the water. And then I was like, all right, cool. I think after 4 years of working for Working Solutions, which is the call center that I worked for before then. I ended up working for another one called Teletech. And then after that, I ended up working for another one called, let's see, I worked for another one called Cytel. And then I worked for, I think a fourth one. And then I ended up working for another one called Kelly Connect, which is really neat. And then I ended up working the golden boy right here, Liveops. What I want to, I guess, make clear to y'all is this is an investment in yourself. So nothing is easy, but the cool thing about this is the harder you work, you will see your results. Like me, sometimes I wake up at 4 in the morning because I'm an insomniac. So there you go. Hey, Michelle. Sometimes I used to wake up like at 4 in the morning. I still do. I wake up at 4 in the morning and I'm like, man, I got bills to pay and I can't sleep. And in my particular case, I happen to be my particular project happens to be open 24/7. So when I wake up at 4 in the morning and I feel stressed out like that, literally going to work for like 3 or 4 hours puts me at ease. And I'm like, oh, I'm cool. I already made like $100. I can go back to bed now. Yeah, it's really cool. I really like that about here. What sets Liveops apart from the other companies too, especially the people who know me, you'll notice that at some companies, I don't want to name anybody out, but you'll know you'll know if you worked with me before. Um, some of them just like to pick up projects. Doesn't matter what the project is. It's quantity over quality. And so far here, I've only seen quality projects, and like man, the pay's been different. The pay's been different and consistent. That's what I love about it. Again, anybody who's ever worked from home before, issue number two from working from home, consistency. Because if you're going to make a career out of it, you need to get paid every day from it. So luckily for me, live ops has I've been so blessed to have had that every day. That every day I need to go to work, I can go to work. But also on that, I'm the type of person who works to live. I don't live to work. So yeah, I might put in my best foot forward. When I'm at work, I'm giving like 210%, which is like, again, this is a company who rewards you for quality. So like the more quality, the more sales, the better you are as an agent, the more calls you're going to route to you, because they need that. They need live ops to be represented by the best of the best. So the better you are, the more money you're going to make. And that's not a joke. When I first came in here, they told me that, and I was like, all right, cool, whatever. I always make a lead agent. I mean, like I said, some of you know me. I always make resource. I always make this. And it's like, all right, cool, 10-cent difference. And in here, I really haven't had a raise in that sense. Like, oh, you got like another title position or whatever. No. But instead, they just give me the money. So I'm getting the raise financially, but not with the title, which is totally okay with me, because here I've already made more money than I have at other work at home companies. And again, I can only tell you is my personal experience, because like I said, when I come here to work. Um, and like honestly, not having to leave the house saves a ton of cash, like gas and other inconveniences. I mean, like I guess here, let me put it this way: how many of you have ever worked at a call center or period, just period, like brick and mortar?
A lot of people that resonate probably with your background, Aldo. Look at these
Probably, I
results.
was thinking.
Yeah,
Yeah,
look at this.
I'm gonna leave it
48% or 48 suggest.
48%. Oh,
Sorry, I
wow.
said that wrong. Number of people, 69%, 57.
Okay. See, y'all know what I'm talking. I just want to make sure. So, like, most of y'all kind of know what I'm talking about. Even if you haven't worked at a call center before, don't worry about it. We have people working here currently who have never worked at a call center before. Um, Basically, where I was going with that is working in a call center is kind of scary right now. Working solutions. I used to also be a job fair representative for them, so I used to work in basically helping people get jobs. I would go to call centers that I knew were going to close down, and I would go offer jobs there. Example, Converges, another call center, brick and mortar I used to work at first. That's where I started. I had heard from a friend of mine who was, I guess, a resource or an ARA, so we would put it like basically the person who finds the information for you and answers the question. He was freaking out. He had 2 kids, a wife. He's paying his own bills, and he's freaking out because he's like, "Dude, I'm about to lose my job." And I'm like, "Man, you don't have to worry. I have this job for you." I got him the working solutions job at this time. And this is his first virtual experience. He's like, "Dude, aren't these things scams or whatever?" I was like, "No, I guarantee you it is not a scam. I've been here for 2 years. It's legitimate. It's legit. Everything's good." So I got him working here, right? And after this, he hasn't looked back. He's actually he has, like, I've literally been trying to, like, "Hey, you want to come over here with us?" No, I just love working the virtual experience. Like, he's like, "No, I can never work from home again," because like now he makes about as much, if not a little bit more than what he used to make. But now he can like schedule himself around it because, like I told you, he has 2 kids, and one of his kids got real sick 2 years ago. Yeah, like 2 years ago, he had gotten seizures every time he was getting a fever. And if he hadn't have been working from home, that virtual experience, he would have to be working at, trying to maintain his composure at work, while thinking, I was like, "Man, I wonder how my son is. I wonder if he's okay today. I wonder if he." And like I said today, I don't know if anybody heard me earlier, but I've been having some major back pain. So my hours, I had to put some up. I was like, "You know what? I can't work today. I can't work yesterday. I'm gonna put some of my time up." And I put it up, and people took it. As long as you put it up early enough, most of the people here are really hungry. They share the same attitude that you share. They're hungry for hours, hungry for money. So if you need to put some time out, as long as you put it up early enough, most people will take it all. I put mine at like 6 in the morning today, and I had to go in at 8, and people took all my hours. It was great. I mean, like I said, work
That
as
is
much,
great.
work as little as you need to. And I know some of your parents. So I mean, for me, it's back pain. I don't have kids, but I do have dogs. So, so if like you ever have an emergency, like this is a place to have an emergency. I mean, so much backup, so much help. Every day for me is awesome. And what keeps me motivated for me, honestly, is the alternatives. Because if I'm not working here, basically I have to work at another call center. I like call centers. I love helping people. That's just who I am. I've always been that way. If I wasn't working here, I'd have to be working at a call center. And like honestly, just all the things that can go wrong and will go wrong in a call center, I've been through those too. So working from home has really saved me a bunch of headaches too. It's not even funny.
Yeah, that's great. And I know we're running a little short on time here, but Aldo, I do want to ask you one question so we can get a quick response. Obviously, the biggest thing that we hear, I know that you've heard it too, is that when it comes to taking on this type of opportunity, a lot of people are scared to get on the phone for the first time. So how did it feel for you to take that first call?
Oh yeah, I was so brave. Yeah, no, I'm just joking. I was shaking. I was so anxious. I was nervous. But like I remember how I said earlier, where you don't have to work 24/7. You don't have to put like 8 hours in to start off with. you could do like an hour. Do an hour, and then the next day challenge yourself and do 2 hours, and then the next day after that challenge yourself and do 3 hours, and then the third day, if you feel confident after you've done 3 hours, add some more time. Add as much time as you can until you feel comfortable, because here they're not gonna judge you, they're not gonna rate you, they're not gonna like, hey, you know what, you basically bombed, failed, get out of here. No, if you need help, we will record the calls and they'll make you, and we'll listen to them and be like, hey, you know what, you need help here, and we'll help you out.
Great advice. Yeah, I love that. Jeremy, really quick, I'd love your honest testimonial, 30 seconds, what you got?
With that first call thing, I think it's so important. Just to harp back on that real quick, do it. Rip that Band-Aid off. Once it's done, I remember I was so anxious because my line, call didn't come in the second I hit available. And I was like, oh boy, oh man, I gotta wait for this. After the very first call, a lot of these lines have like a really good starting script to get you into the call. It's just a matter of liking people and serving people. It may take you a minute to get the answer, but you're gonna be able to solve it for them. After the first 3 hours, like Aldo says, you're going to start feeling pretty confident.
Great advice. Yes. We hear that a lot too. Very common theme. All right. So we're going to go ahead and jump into Q&A. Obviously, you have the three of us here available to you. I know we've seen a lot of questions come in. So I'm going to go ahead and gear up and see what we have available. And we do only have about 5 minutes. I will say that while we're pulling these up, at the end of this, we are going to follow up with an email that gives you information that'll answer a lot of your questions, and as well as guidance on if you want to explore this opportunity a little bit further. All right. Aldo, we have a question for you. It's, do I have to pay for the certification?
No, you do not. The certification is, you don't pay for that. You pay for the background check. As far as I know, I don't know if things have updated or not. And is it worth it? Yeah, I've worked at places where you haven't had to pay for your background check and not the training either, or the certification, but they're not worth it compared to this one. So let me tell you, yeah, it's worth it.
Yeah, and I will say that just full clarity and transparency on this. The reason why we don't pay for training is because there is specific legality reasons behind independent contractors versus employees. We can pay for that kind of stuff if you're an employee. For an independent contractor, we can. It just creates a liability. So, but it is, of course, an investment in your home business, and it does get you started. And you've heard all of this from Aldo and Jeremy, so I hope that that helps answer that question a little bit more thoroughly. Question, I'm going to go ahead and take this one. Where can I see new job opportunities on your site? So we have a great website that answers a lot of questions and covers all of the current opportunities that are listed. This does change a lot. You can visit join.liveops.com, and that'll cover everything you need. All right, question for you, Jeremy. What happens after I apply?
So after you apply, you're going to be contacted on certification schedule, which is going to be where you get set up, you learn the ins and outs of the business. And it's very important when you start that you really schedule it towards you're able to attend these and learn the business. This is one of the things where you're investing in yourself. One of the greatest things you'll ever do for yourself is invest in your education. And luckily for you, in this case, you'll be able to learn these industry standards. You'll be able to learn these jobs free of charge, just attending them, making sure you are present to be there. So you get right through it. The quicker you get through it, the quicker you get on the lines, the quicker you get paid.
Great. All right. Next question. Do you work in all states? We actually don't. Some states are adverse to the independent contractor model that we would love to be in every single state in every single country, but that creates some legal issues again. So if you want to get a list of the states that we're in and that we're not in, we're going to, again, follow up with that information in an email. That information is also on the join.liveops.com website, so be sure to check that out. See a couple other questions coming in. You don't have to cold call if you don't need to. The question was, do we need to make cold calling? There's a bunch of different clients that you can work with, so if that's not for you, it doesn't have to be for you. All right, how much do you get paid per hour? This depends on the basically the client that you work with. These numbers are dictated a little bit by the contracts that we have with the organization that you would specifically work for. So that's variable. I can't personally say that, but if you do have questions, if you decide to apply, then absolutely be sure to ask that of our talent acquisition team, and they'll be able to help you out. All right, I know that we are getting to the very end of our time again. I'm sorry we can't get to all the questions. Please know that we do have a really thorough FAQ page, and if you do decide to move forward with this opportunity, we have teams that help you every step of the way to answer all of the questions that you do have. If you want to see the jobs that we have available today, there's a bunch of them listed to work with a variety of different clients based on industry, so visit join.liveops.com. And again, we'll be sending you this message afterwards. I think that we're putting some stuff in the chat right now. Oh, there we go. We have the website up in the chat window for everybody to check out. All right, so again, thank you everybody for joining us. We do strongly believe that based on the trends we've seen on the direction that the workforce is heading, that the future is work from home. We hope that you'll get confident in taking this next step with us and learning more. And thank you for your time today. Any further questions, here's the site just one more time. This is a list of FAQs that you can visit right now if you don't want to wait for the email to come through. So feel free to check it out, and we hope to engage with you more in the future.